What's going on, everyone? Good to see you all again. I know I haven't posted in a while, but here we are. We're trying to stay consistent, trying to life at the same time while staying consistent and doing the video uploads at the same time. So I apologize for that. Welcome back to all my viewers. Hope you guys are all doing well. Today I want to talk about some stuff that's not necessarily has to do with like the trucking industry or my line of business in the past or anything like that, but it's kind of a what do you call it, like a after effect, or something that's starting to happen due to the whole economy going down and all these tariffs and everything going on right now, and the government shut down, etc., right? So we need to talk about this whole EBT, food stamps, and all this other program business that helps with people who are unable to provide completely with their own money, and these government funded programs per se, right? So I'm seeing a lot of videos online, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everything, right? A lot of people are starting to, they're starting to fear that they won't be able to get anything to eat. They're starting to fear that they won't be able to, provide for their kids, their families. And I've read as much as I've also seen videos on all sides of the fence, right? I've seen people who are complaining because they got to go find a job now, which I'm not really gonna defend those individuals, because if you're out there just fooling around and not actively looking for work, I feel like you're kind of abusing the system, which is why it leads to where it's leading to right now. Anyways, then you have people who are injured, they got hurt at work, they got disabilities, they cannot provide for themselves as easily, right? So what happens? They get these government funded programs like EBT, food stamps, SNAP benefits, where these folks can go to grocery stores and they get a certain amount of money every month, or I don't know if I haven't used it, so I wouldn't know. Maybe it's every week or every month, I'm not sure. And you get like a budget for spending on groceries. Maybe you can get something else for like WIC programs out there that provide stuff for nursing moms and children. WIC I'm more familiar with. I've met a lot of people who use that program, but SNAP, EBT, food stamps, all that is what I'm talking about in this video. So you got people who are disabled, you got people who got injured at work, you got people who got laid off and they're currently trying to find something to get back into the working field. And so those are the people that are struggling because they don't have anything going on right now. But then you have the people, like I mentioned earlier, who, hey, I'm not knocking you, but I just kind of disagree with the lifestyle sometimes of not wanting to find a job. And I've seen people say stuff like, well, this is what I pay taxes for, this is what people pay taxes for, it's so that they can pay for us, and we don't have to work, it's our money too, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. I believe that it's time to start thinking about backup plans, or maybe it's time to start looking at other options for saving money, budgeting, in order to help your food benefit or your food situation, right? Because if you're relying on a government funded program, what's going to happen when something like the government shutdown happens, which it currently is, right? People are now starting to make videos, and I don't know if they're trolling or not, this is just what I see. People are claiming to steal and rob people outside of grocery stores, and they're starting to make these video trends on walking out with stuff from the grocery stores. They're gonna pull up on you when you load up your car, all that kind of stuff, right? Scary stuff. If it's true, if it's just trolling, all right, right, but it's just not something you want to be putting out there, because then, you know, whatever's put on the internet will be in there forever. So if I'm on video saying I'm gonna rob you when you get out, which I'm not, I'm just, you know, claiming, I'm just repeating what I've seen, and then eventually you end up doing it, right? You're pretty much caught on camera in 4K on admitting to what you did before you even did it, right? So premeditated. But with that being said, guys, it is tough out here. It is very hard right now. I have been on the hunt for jobs that fit a certain criteria. And when I say criteria, I mean something that fits my lifestyle. Unfortunately, I've mentioned in my past videos that, you know, I had a little bit of a nest egg for emergencies, but we're getting to that point. We are at that point, I should say. We're at that point where it's time to buck up, nut up or shut up, pretty much, right? Because it's not easy trying to find something that fits your scheduling with, you know, kids and a wife at home. And if I was a single man, or if it was just me and my lady, it'd be a whole nother story, you know, because the lady would understand. She'd have her own stuff going on. I'd have my own stuff going on. But unfortunately, when there's kids involved, your whole world changes. You got to find something that suits them, or at least suits your wife's ability to care for the kids, I should say. So if I do end up finding something and I'm, you know, getting to that point where I don't care what I get, night shift, day shift, afternoon shift, I don't care at this point. I just need to start getting some money back in my pockets. And if it does get to that point, well, I'm gonna have to talk to the lady at home and let her know, hey, you know what, you're gonna have to figure it out, unfortunately, because we need the money. And that's just kind of where I'm at right now. This whole EBT situation is pretty crazy. You got a lot of people who rely on it. You got a lot of families who are going to be, you know, either suffering or figuring it out in the next couple of weeks when they do cut it off. I believe they have already announced that EBT, SNAP, and all that will not be going into effect after November 1st, which would be in a few days here coming up. So for those of you out there who are struggling and going through it, you know, hey, believe me, I'm in the same boat as you. You know, I like to believe that I have been blessed enough to not have to ever use programs like that. Myself, I know in the past, my parents growing up, well, my mom, I should say, might have used one of those programs because she was a single mom and, you know, she had kids and, you know, dad was not around. You know, like a two-parent household usually works, right? Anyways, not to get all personal and stuff, just kind of explaining to you why. But yeah, I think I can consider myself, you know, I'm not knocking anyone again. I consider myself blessed to not have to ever use those programs unless I really need to, because they're for those folks out there that really do need to use them. And if you are going through it, you know, I feel for you. I'm going through it, but we're gonna do it together, and we're gonna get through it. So, with that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys for watching these videos, and you know, I hope everyone's doing their thing out there in life. I hope you guys are figuring things out. I hope if you got something planned, your plan comes to life. You know, I'm very grateful every day that I get to get up and breathe and start a new day again and see my kids and see the people that I enjoy being around and, you know, do the things that I love to do. So for those of you out there, guys, I can't thank you enough. We are almost at 40 subscribers, which is crazy. And with that being said, guys, we will see you on the next one. Take care. Alrighty then.